Hi everyone, this is Gaylin, and today I'm going to show you how to create an underwater tropical theme card with a little scene in it featuring Unity Stamp Company. I have the stamp kit Fishy Philosophy by Unity. I use Ranger Archival ink in Orange Blossom, Versamark ink, white embossing powder. I use an EK Success powder tool that you'll see later, and Ranger watercolor paper. I use My Favorite Things stitched rectangle scalloped edge frame die. I use the negative for that also. And for watercolor, I used Alt New watercolor half pans along with watercolor brushes. Now, for stamping, I use the Misty stamping tool, the original Misty. And I stamped that in the orange first. I placed everything where I wanted it to be before I stamped. Now I'm adding a little bit of the powder. I used the powder to help eliminate stray embossing powder. Once I start that process, it lifts off the paper a little easier. So I'm stamping now in watermark ink. I like to use Versamark. There are other ones out there. It just happens to be that I own that one. After everything is embossed in white, I make sure it's all heat embossed and dry. And then I mix a palette of watercolors by Alta New. I chose to use a light teal and a darker teal, and I mixed brown with a lot of water, and it ends up being more of a tan shade. Sometimes I'll mix two colors together. And then I applied that sand color towards the bottom of the watercolor panel. And you could start to see the embossing, the coral embossing showing through a little bit. And then I added a little bit of teal at the top part in the lighter colors. And then I allowed it to blend a little where they meet. And I keep this area real wet with water. I added a little darker shade of teal, especially around where the coral heat embossing is. And then I dab the puddles a little bit with a paper towel. And I leave that to set, and then I'll heat set again later. And then I stamped the fish in the same orange and started to add watercolor to that with a more of a narrow brush. You get a little more detail with a narrow brush and a little bit less water. Sometimes I just want to work faster, and I'll just have those already colored with Copics or something else, or colored pencils, but this time I decided to go ahead and watercolor them. Now you can remove watercolor if you have too much by just wetting your brush and then blotting it a little bit dry, and moving the brush over the area that you don't want, and then blotting it on a paper towel. Okay, so I fussy cut the fish out, heat set everything and dried, and now I'm adding a frame from the die cut, and I like to use Multi-Medium Matte by Ranger. It eliminates the glossy look of glue. And then I layered and popped up the background and the fish with foam adhesive, double-sided adhesive. And to finish, I just added a few dots of the Multi-Medium Matte again, and I added droplets from Pretty Pink Posh. I like to use those, especially with water scenes. It looks like little bubbles coming from the fish. And really, that's it. It's all set to go. I hope you enjoyed it. Please take a moment to like and follow me. I'd love to know what you think. Thanks.